What if I told you you can build a literal SaaS product in a few hours? Not a landing page, not a mock-up, an actual working product with a database, user flows, dashboards, referral tracking, legal compliance, the whole thing. Because what used to take months, a development team, and honestly a small miracle if you're not technical, Claude Code just made that a Tuesday afternoon. I know how that sounds. I would have rolled my eyes at that sentence a year ago too, but I'm going to show you exactly what I built, how long it actually took, and the method behind it. Because this isn't vibe coding for fun as it is. This is building real business infrastructure without needing to know a single line of code. And if making a SaaS product has felt like a nightmare that was never meant for people like you, that just changed. What Claude Code actually is, and this is for non-developers. Let me give you the honest version because most explanations either overcomplicate it or make it sound like magic. Think of a general contractor. They don't pour the concrete, they don't wire the electricity, but they know what the whole thing is supposed to look like. They can read the blueprints, they know when something is off, and they direct the work. That's me with Claude Code. I tell it what I want, I can see when it looks right, I push back when it doesn't, and it does the technical build. Practically, I work inside something called Cursor. It's a coding environment. Claude Code lives in there with me. I write prompts, not code, prompts. For example, build me an admin dashboard with search, sort, pagination, and the ability to export participants to a CSV. And it builds it. The database, the API routes, the UI, all of it. I want to be real with you. You still need to know what you want. You need to be able to read what it's building and know when something looks off. The general contractor still has to show up to the site, but you do not need to know how to build it. That gap between knowing what you want and knowing how to build it is exactly what Claude Code does. This tool covers what would normally require a developer, a designer, a database person, and a project manager. All of that in one place, available whenever you are, including 2 a.m. when the idea hits. But here's where it gets really interesting, because building the app was actually the easy part. What I didn't expect was what happened when I wanted to add a feature mid-build, which happens a lot. The streak engine. This is how iteration actually works. So I'm building Stack Rewards. It's a full giveaway SaaS platform specific to Substack. Participant entry, unique referral codes, 8 ways to earn points, and a complete admin dashboard with a leaderboard. And I'm sitting here thinking, what makes people actually come back every single day? With Claude, we decided it was a streak engine. This was the conversation I had with Claude Code, not a prompt, a conversation. I want to reward people for consecutive daily activity, bonus points on, let's say, days 3, 7, 14, 21, and 30. Miss a day, the streak resets. We designed the concept together. Then I wrote 7 sequential prompts, each one building on the last. Database migrations, API routes, UI components showing the current streak, email event tracking when someone hits a milestone. Remember, Claude Code's building all of this. That entire feature from start to finish happened in one session. A feature that would take a developer days to spec, build, and test. Idea to working code in a single afternoon. That is the real story. Not that I built an app that I can iterate this fast. That is what changes how you run a business. But if you're thinking, okay, but I'm not building a giveaway app, this isn't for me. Just wait, because what I also built is probably more relevant to you than anything else I'm going to say today. The voice DNA system. This is the part that nobody talks about. This is probably my favorite thing I've built. Less flashy than a SaaS, but more powerful than anything else in my AI setup right now. I built a voice DNA system. I extracted my own writing voice into a detailed spec. Personality traits, tone calibration, my actual sentence structure, my punctuation habits, the Gen X references I use, and why. But here's the part that really matters. I also built an anti-pattern stock. 10 specific ways AI flattens and genericizes my voice, and rules to prevent every single one. So now when I create content using AI, it sounds like me. Not AI, me, not corporate me, just me. And here's what I call bullshit on. The reason most people's AI content sounds like AI content is because they never told AI who they actually are. They gave it a topic, they didn't give it a voice. This fixes that completely. And then then there's what I did for a client that honestly felt like running a full agency from my laptop. 11 AI agents, one client website, real deliverable. So this was a client website build, and instead of doing it piece by piece, I built a team. 11 Claude Code agents, each one specialized. A legal compliance auditor, a QA engineer, performance auditor, SEO expert, creative director, brand editor, accessibility consultant, UI designer, thought leadership copywriter, website copywriter. And then I have a notes review agent for Substack notes. I orchestrated all of them from my terminal. For a paying client, let that actually in for a second. I ran a virtual agency for this project without hiring anyone, without a $200 a month project management tool, without a single contractor call. This is what I mean when I say the playing field is leveling. A solo operator with 18 years of business knowledge in AI has the team is a completely different business than what any of us could have even built 2 years ago. So here's the quick question. Claude Code lets non-technical people build real products. The iteration speed is the actual superpower, not just the build. Voice DNA means your AI content can finally sound like you. And with agent orchestration, one person can genuinely do the work of a full team. Now think about what's sitting on your backlog right now. That tool you wish existed, that workflow you do manually every single week, that thing you've been putting off because you assumed you would need a developer. What if it existed by this weekend? Because that's what we're talking about now. Not someday, not when you learn to code, not when you can get funding, now. I'm not saying it's perfect every time. I'm not saying there's zero frustration in the process, but I am saying that for the first time in 18 years of running an online business, I feel like the thing I can imagine and the thing I can actually build are finally the same size. That's new. And I don't take that lightly. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I genuinely love talking through this stuff. And if you got value from this, a like and a subscribe means more than you know. I'll catch you guys next time.